Okay, continuing from where we left off. Okay, so I already blocked out most of the important shapes for this iron, but right now I still need to refer to the BREF document where I collected these images, and I want to study what is the shape of this particular section here. What does it look like? So it seems that the handle is split into these two framework, and then it's going to extend all the way down here. So I'm going to use the mirror, right, to mirror model this section out and extrude out to form this base section first. Okay, so I will go back to my over here and then go over to the top part here, and let's go over to the face selection and go to level 1. And it seems that this top part here, my symmetry is on, so I'm just going to make it look a little bit more squarish here. Okay, I'll go to my right view, and I think I'll just extrude this entire section over here until it reaches down here. And there's a center section right about here. In fact, I can see a seam line over here, so I'm going to use this as my guide to extrude. Okay, so maybe I will extrude these portion here and down to this section first. Okay, and extrude this one here, and then use rotate. And take note that there's a slot over here, so I'm trying to think where can I get this to come down here. Extrude this section out. Now on second thought, let me just undo all of this. Seems it makes more sense to just extrude out this entire section here, and we will just cut and refine that later. So just extrude one section here like this, and use scale to scale it down. But be very careful and make sure that I do not scale it too small. Okay, so this is a section over here that extrude outwards. So holding down the shift, I'm going to extrude out one section right about here. So right now I'll just correct the handle section, and right about here. Okay, again, look at my references. You see that this gap here is very close to this portion here. Let me take a look at other references. Okay, there is actually a significant gap here, and then this framework here is quite thin. So I'm going to make sure that there's a big gap here. So I think the gap is right about here. I guess I'm just taking a guess over here visually. So now I can grab these faces on the side here to extrude out. Okay, and just extrude out one section here like that. Okay, I don't have a front view to help me to reference this, so this one I'll just have to eyeball this. Use scale to flatten this. there seems to be a taper here, so I'm just going to taper this slightly. Okay, I'm going to scale this up, and unfortunately there doesn't seem to be a skew option that allows me to skew the directions of this shape here, so I have to manually rotate this up a bit. Alright, so now we have opposing faces. We will bridge them together. But for this to work, I'll have to temporarily switch off my symmetry. Then I'll bridge these faces together. There you go, and then I can increase the divisions. Maybe I'll just give it about 1 division. Okay, problem with the division is that it's going to twist everything all up. Let me get rid of the divisions. I think I can just use a cutter to just cut it. Okay, that's good. Okay, right now I'll have to double click on this loop. Let's switch back to symmetry again. Go to edge section. Select this edge and bevel it. Okay, so far it looks good, except for this area here. I need to insert one more edge loop to make this area rounder. So let's go to edge mode and insert one edge loop. Okay, good. So now we are going to extend to the bottom to match this from reference, and then now we are missing the slot over here. So let's go back to level 1 and maybe go to the material properties of this. Reduce the transparency. Okay, let's take a look at the reference again. So this area you can see is tapered upwards. So I'll have to go wrap this section here. Let's pull it out slightly because it's tapered outwards. And this one is also tapered downwards slightly. So I will select all these vertices and push it down slightly. Okay, you can see over here there's a very obvious slope from here. I'm going to use my top view as a reference. Okay, so it means that this loop actually goes in a little bit more because we've got this unique tapering shape. Add onto this section here. Okay, so now creating the slot over here is going to be a bit tricky. So I'm going to split this into two if I can. Let's see, where does the slot start? Slot start right over here. So I'm going to insert one. There's a wrap up here. Okay, with these faces selected, I'm going to do an inset extrude. And do an offset. Okay, so this is where the we'll try to insert inwards to create the slot for the table. Okay, again, I'm going to take a look at the reference. The rear of the reference. Okay, so this part goes through all the way halfway through, and then it stops here. So okay, so now I've got that information. That means I will have to delete this face even more, so or select the inner face a little bit right about here. So I undid the inset and then I'll redo again. Okay, let me undo the selection of face. So this one, and do inset. Okay, right about here, and then we extrude inwards. So Control E again, and then we extrude inwards slightly, and I'll delete all these faces. So now I have to patch up this hole here. Okay, it seems that the hole based on the reference is straight, vertically down like that, so we'll try to follow that. Okay, again I'll check the reference and see, actually is tapering upwards slightly. So it's pretty close to what I'm doing, so yeah, we'll stick it as that, but now we will have to rebuild the inner portion here. Okay, so we created a slot. Now we're going to create a slot for the cable that comes out from here. Let's take a look at the reference again. Okay, it seems that there's a gap over here so that we can actually detach this piece here and then just create a slot from there. So it'll make our life a little bit easier. So rather than having edge loops running all over the this shape here, we're going to detach this face, use shift full stop. We're going to detach this section here and then just cut a slot there. It's much better than having to insert edge loops, otherwise right, we'll have too many edge loops that's running across all over this shape here. So I'm going to detach the shape here and then model this slot over here. So using shift right mouse click, and then we're going to duplicate face to detach it. Let's go to object mode, and we should be able to select the original object that still has the face. This is the one. So the other object should be this piece, but we do not want it with the face over here. Okay, let me just check the outliner first. So I'll call this maybe the cable section is under here. And then this is the part where it was extracted from. Let me see whether I can move this up. Yeah. So I'm gonna get rid of this section. Shift full stop, increase the selection here, and then delete it. I'm gonna move it back into place like this. So by doing this, right, I should be able to cut the slot easily without inserting too many edge loops. They'll make my modeling a bit difficult later on. So right now, I'll use the multi-cut tool and just to cut a slot over here first. So using a face selection, you can get this slot and delete. And essentially we will rebuild the slot by extruding this portion inwards. Okay, I'm going to insert one edge loop here so that I can join this edge. And connect this edge. And finally extrude these two edges out and have it match the other portion like that. And remember to merge the vertices. Make sure that I select the right vertices, okay, and then merge. Oops. Okay. Selected the wrong vertices. Select the edge here and then push it back in some more. Okay, it's like this vertex holding down the V and then move it to snap here. Then select these two, and because we are using mirror, it's saying that we are selecting 3, which is actually correct. So merge to center. Alright, so I'll have to probably bevel the interior here, otherwise if I press number 3, I'm going to end up with this shape here, and then these two vertices needs to be merged together. And we definitely need more edge loops running on the top here to tighten or harden edges here. So let's go and see where can we insert the edge loop, maybe right about here. And this one as well. So we should have a tight edge here now. Now for the bottom, let's do one more loop around here. And we should have a, yeah. So now we have the cable slot done. Okay, let's take a look at the reference again. You can see that this sort of like got a rounded section here, and then there's one protrusion that come out to connect to this framework. So let's do that. Okay, let's go and select these vertices here. Actually, since this bottom part is flushed against here, I will grab the corner here and use a soft selection and just move it up here to create that curved look. Okay, we can see that this is actually a very small section here, and then the white part here actually terminates at this line here. So which probably means the cable the slot might not be so thick after all. So I will have to rescale this Okay, so it's going to be a bit of refinement to get this to match, or at least join the back of this this cable slot section. Okay, we're still missing this piece that actually connects to this section here. So, and it seems like, again, I have to look at the reference again. Okay, so there's an extension pole here that connects to that. So let's go back to level 1. Most likely I will grab these faces here. And then extrude it out. Okay, from the looks of it, it seems that this portion could be much lower than it really is. As in, this section could be much lower than it really is. Maybe at this height instead. Okay, I couldn't confirm that, but let's take a look, stare at the reference again. Unless my reference is incorrect. Okay. I see the issue here now. This section has to be lower, which means all these sections here has to be lower as well. Okay, the problem right now is that we have this area obstructing, but let's see what I can hide all of these. Yes, I can. So you can hide specific portions of your model so that it doesn't block your view. You can show right, you see from the reference, this part here is sticking out, not coming in like that, so I'll have to push this edge slowly, little bit, just push this out. Okay, I need to select this one as well. Okay, so now I can see here this area here is much wider, so I make this a little bit too narrow. So I'll have to widen this a bit. And you can delete away this face. Okay, so notice the hot plate. It's just a simple extrusion of a flat side, so we want to make sure that the edges are much harder, so I will have to bevel the sides or the edges to give it a much more defined look. So we can do that by selecting this face that runs across like that, then add a bevel, and I think we'll add one section for now and maybe reduce the fraction a bit. So when I press number 3, it should be much more well defined. And we definitely can increase the thickness a bit. So I'm going to use a selection method. Just selecting the top face. Okay, I have to isolate this, isolate, select, and only grab only the top faces like that, and press shift full stop, and then go to move, but the orientation of our move is incorrect, so we need to go to move and change it to the objects normal. Let's see whether normal is facing normal. Okay, we can try component. The component is not giving us a good orientation, so I think we're just going to eyeball this using the object's own x-axis. Disappear, but I think this is good enough. Let's go back to non-isolated. Okay, good. So we can insert one edge loop in the middle here, so that I can create this sort of a sharp bevel shape here, and then for this one we can grab this and push it out here. so that now we have a much nicer looking metal base. Alright, so now I'm going to make this area a little bit more transparent so I can fine tune the shape here. So let's go back to material attributes and make this transparent. And we can do our fine tuning here. You can turn on B for soft selection. So we can gradually sculpt and move groups of vertices at once. Okay, it seems that the white section extends all the way to here because there's going to be a lever and knot over here. Most likely we're going to be breaking this into separate parts later on. So I think I'm just going to leave it for now. See if I can refine this area here. So Okay, so I think I will stop for now. I think I've done enough work for this part here, and we'll continue in another part as we refine the iron further. We definitely will need to add more edge loops around here to refine this area to connect to this component here. But I'm satisfied with what I've had so far. So, okay, I don't know where this came from. Let me just get rid of that. Let's do another save. And then we'll call it for this part.